You'll be fine going to the hospital alone, right? I swear. I'll send you straight to hell. My name is Lisa, and I'm 9 months pregnant with our first child. It's both exciting and nerve-wracking. I've never given birth before, but the thought of meeting our baby fills me with hope and joy. My husband, David, works a desk job and gets weekends off, though you wouldn't know it from how little he helps around the house. Most weekends, he's at his parents' place. Their home is nearby, and while there's rarely a real reason for the visit, he goes without fail. He's deeply attached to them, but sometimes I wonder where I fit in. Since getting pregnant, I've tried to be careful, no lifting heavy things, avoiding unnecessary strain. Luckily, I have understanding friends who help me when I need it. My daily routine involves waking early to make David's breakfast, seeing him off to work, then cleaning, doing laundry, shopping, and preparing dinner. Only after that do I get a moment to myself. During maternity leave, I started blogging. It's become a quiet joy, posting photos of meals, the sky, flowers blooming in the garden, small things that bring me peace. The kind comments from friends help me feel a little more seen. One evening, while cooking, David came home. As usual, he dropped his jacket and bag carelessly on the couch, and I quietly hung them up. "Welcome back. I made hamburgers tonight. I'm going to shower," he muttered, heading straight to the bathroom. It's been 3 years since we married, and any warmth between us seems to have faded. Sometimes I wonder if this is what marriage is supposed to feel like, but I've grown used to the silence. When he returned in pajamas, I handed him a drink. "Where's the beer?" he asked, glancing toward the fridge. "I'm sorry, I forgot to pick it up today. I'll go tomorrow." "Seriously? Go get it now." His voice rose, irritation boiling over. I stared at him. Was he really asking his heavily pregnant wife to go out at night for beer? "If you want it so badly, why don't you go? I can barely move with this belly." That pushed him over the edge. "You forgot it. You fix it. Just because you're pregnant doesn't mean you're above doing your job." My mother always said women need to stay active while expecting. Knowing that arguing would only prolong the fight, I reluctantly slipped on shoes and headed out. At the convenience store, I bumped into my neighbor, Sarah. "Lisa, good evening." "Hi, Sarah. Forgot to buy something too?" "Yeah, ran out of sauce. What about you?" "Beer," David insisted. She blinked. He couldn't go himself? I said the same thing, but, you know how it is. She gave me a sympathetic look. "You're dealing with a lot, Lisa." After we parted ways, I walked home slowly, mentally preparing myself. David was sprawled on the sofa watching TV, with the dinner dishes untouched. "What took you so long? Give me the beer." I handed it to him silently and began clearing the table. Every word he said felt like a stone pressing on my chest. I wanted to scream, but I kept it in. After dinner and a bath, I went straight to bed. The next morning, he acted like nothing had happened. "What's with the attitude? Don't start your day being bitter at me. I'm off to work, at least show some appreciation." I wanted to snap back. That goes both ways, but all I could do was sigh. Later that day, David texted that he wouldn't be home for dinner. Relieved, I made a simple meal just for myself. But just as I was about to eat, I heard the front door open. "I'm back." "Welcome home. I thought you said you weren't eating tonight?" "The drinking party was cancelled. I'm hungry." "You've got something, right?" "I only made enough for me." His expression twisted. "You didn't even consider I might come back? Unbelievable." He marched to the dining table, scoffing at the modest meal. "This is it? Are you even trying? What a waste of my money." "Please don't be upset. I didn't know you'd be home. Maybe you should take some cooking lessons from my mother. Yours has always been mediocre at best." There it was, another comparison. Always his mother. Never enough. "I can't eat this. Go buy something." I hesitated. I was already in pajamas, exhausted. "Can't you go yourself?" "Forget it. First beer, now dinner? I'm done. I'm going to my parents." He slammed the door behind him, and for the first time in a while, I felt a strange sense of peace. But peace is short-lived. The next morning, David's mother called. "You're failing in your responsibilities, Lisa." "Not feeding David properly? That's borderline abuse." I tried to explain, but she wouldn't listen. I apologized just to end the call. then sank into silence. With David gone, I enjoyed a quiet brunch, but I couldn't shake the thought that he'd return that night. So I made an effort. I went out, bought his favorite ingredients and beer, and cooked a dinner worthy of a special occasion. I even cut down on blogging to focus on the meal. By evening, everything was perfect. I looked at the beautifully set table and allowed myself to feel proud. This time, he'll be happy. But he didn't come. I called, no answer. 1 hour passed, then 2. Worried, I called his parents. He wasn't there. Just before midnight, David finally came home, drunk and stumbling. I'm home, hic. I rushed to help him. Are you okay? Too loud. Go away. He shoved my hand off and staggered inside. When I tried again to steady him, he snapped. Don't touch me. Don't come near me with that ugly face. Can't believe you're my wife. The words hit like a slap. I froze. He collapsed onto the floor and fell asleep right there. I stared at the untouched food. My hands trembled. I had poured so much care into that dinner, into every detail. For what? Tears welled up, but I forced myself to sit down and eat in silence, surrounded by the echo of my own loneliness. The next morning, David woke with a groan. Ugh, my head. Must have drunk too much. As if nothing had happened. I drank too much, but why did you leave me in the hallway? You chose to lie down there. David, that wasn't my decision. Aren't you my wife? You should at least take care of me when I'm drunk. His words echoed through my head like a bitter draft. Why was it always my fault? If you weren't planning to eat at home, you could have at least let me know. I prepared dinner and called you several times. Why didn't you answer? My drinking party from the other day got rescheduled, he said flatly. Do I really need to report every little thing? You know how hard it is to check your phone in the middle of a gathering. Try understanding my side for once. With every word, something inside me froze. Maybe if I stopped expecting anything from him, I wouldn't feel so hurt. That thought stuck with me like a protective shell. I'm heading back to my parents tomorrow. I need a break. Lately, being around you is just draining. That condescending tone again. I was no longer just upset, I was weighing the idea of divorce more seriously than ever before. My due date was fast approaching, and despite everything, my heart was full of hope for the baby. Neighbors cheered me on with kind words like, hang in there, you're almost there, and those small encouragements helped me carry on. Then, one evening, David came home with an unexpected suggestion. Hey, want to go on a family trip? Really? I asked, surprised. Yeah, my parents want to come too. It'll be all of us. My heart sank. His parents had never been supportive. They always sided with David, blaming me whenever things went wrong. The idea of traveling with them right before my due date made my stomach churn. I don't think that's a good idea. I'm due any day now. It might not be safe. David waved off my concern. How many times do I have to say this? Being pregnant isn't an illness. My parents are making a thoughtful gesture. Just be grateful. But what if something happens while we're away? You worry too much. It's already decided, we leave next week. 2 nights, 3 days. Just get everything ready. He didn't wait for a reply, he just left the room, and I was left in stunned silence. The next day, I confided in a friend. Her response was immediate, that's not okay. She urged me to prioritize my health and consider pushing back. But before I could find the right words to cancel, the day of the trip arrived. I'm not feeling well, I told David, trying to sound weak. I think I should rest. I'm worried about the baby. You can rest in the car, he said flatly. We're going to my parents. Bring the luggage, let's go. As we loaded up the car, anxiety knotted in my chest. Something didn't feel right. And then, just as I settled into the passenger seat, I felt it. A sudden warmth spread around my feet. Oh no, my water broke. David, my water just broke. We have to go to the hospital, now. David stared at me, stunned. What? Are you serious? Yes, hurry. But instead of starting the car, David opened the door on my side. Get out, he muttered. What are you doing? You're making a mess in the car. Get out, I have to clean it. David, this is an emergency. I said get out. He snapped and yanked me out of the car. I stood there, trembling. unable to process the cruelty of what just happened. "We were supposed to be on a family trip," he muttered. "Go to the hospital on your own." He climbed into the car and drove away. My legs nearly gave out. But just then, a familiar voice called out. "Lisa, are you okay?" It was Sarah, my neighbor. Without hesitation, she sprang into action, calling a taxi and staying with me, her hand tightly gripping mine the whole way to the hospital. Tears streamed down my face, not from pain, but from her kindness. Thanks to Sarah, I made it to the hospital safely. She stayed by my side until I was admitted, even contacting my parents. As I was wheeled into the delivery room, I made a silent vow. I will never let David treat me like this again. The pain intensified, but Sarah never let go of my hand. Soon, my parents arrived, their faces etched with worry. Sarah spoke quietly to them, and they all left the room for a moment. My phone vibrated on the bedside table. "Who is it?" I asked. "David," my mother replied, her face tight with displeasure. I picked up the call, only to hear David's panicked voice. "Help me." But I was in no state or mood to listen. I hung up. Even after my phone was turned off, messages poured in. Later, I was taken to the delivery room, where I endured wave after wave of pain. Eventually, I heard my baby's first cries, a sound that washed over me like sunlight after a storm. My parents and Sarah stood nearby, beaming with joy. I smiled weakly, then let myself drift into sleep. Hours later, I awoke to find my parents sitting by my bedside. "Are you okay?" my mother asked softly. I nodded, too tired to speak. My father wiped his eyes, overcome with emotion. "How's the baby?" I asked. "He's doing great," my mother said. "Just went for a quick checkup. You'll see him soon." I looked around. "Where's Sarah?" "She left a little while ago," my mother said, smiling. I thought of how different things might have been if she hadn't shown up when she did. Gratitude flooded me. I promised myself I'd thank her properly. When I turned on my phone to share the news of my son's birth, I saw dozens of missed calls, all from David. I stared at the screen, expressionless, then silently closed the app. Later that day, a friend visited to celebrate the birth. When I told her what had happened, she was stunned. "That man doesn't deserve you," she said firmly. "Right now, just focus on healing. The rest can wait." My parents, now fully aware of what had transpired thanks to Sarah, sat beside me later and asked gently, "What are you planning to do?" "I'm thinking about divorce," I told them. "I've had enough." They didn't try to change my mind. They just offered their support. After I was discharged, I moved into my parents' home, where they had prepared a room for me and the baby. David had apparently tried to visit the hospital, but I had left strict instructions with the staff not to let him in. The following day, Sarah visited again, holding a fruit basket. "Sarah," I greeted her, tears welling up. "You look better," she smiled, "but don't overdo it. The first weeks after birth are tough." I took the basket from her and bowed deeply. "I can't thank you enough. You saved me." "I just did what anyone would," she said warmly. "The most important thing is that you and your baby are safe." Still, I couldn't help but apologize. "I'm sorry for dragging you into this." Sarah gave a knowing smile. "Don't apologize, but just so you know, my husband's furious about how David treated you. You're not alone in this," I admitted. "Don't worry, just remember who you owe for landing that job at your current company." It was a moment I wouldn't soon forget. Sarah's voice carried a firmness I had never heard before. Sarah, as it turned out, was no ordinary neighbor. She was the wife of the CEO at the very company where my husband worked. When we first moved into the neighborhood, I had no idea. We became close naturally, running into each other at the supermarket, chatting at local shops, even sharing tea on quiet afternoons. That's when I learned who her husband was. My own husband, on the other hand, remained completely oblivious. He hadn't even joined me when we introduced ourselves to the neighbors. He always avoided socializing. At one point, Sarah had gently asked, "Please don't tell your husband about my background. I just want to keep things peaceful," and I'd honored that request. But as my pregnancy progressed and my husband's mistreatment worsened, Sarah began to gently suggest, "Should I speak to my husband about this?" Each time, I declined. not wanting to burden her. But after everything that had happened, I sensed that even Sarah had reached her limit. That was likely why my husband had started calling non-stop. Sarah. I truly can't thank you enough, I said, overwhelmed. Her words and unwavering support moved me to tears. She smiled warmly. Lisa, you're my friend. I can't just stand by while someone treats you like that. Despite the kindness that filled the room, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Dozens of messages from my husband. I ignored them all. For the first time, the idea of divorce felt not only right, but necessary. All I wanted was to focus on building a safe life with my baby. As my hospital discharge approached, a close friend came to visit. She handed me her phone. I want you to see something. Displayed on the screen was a social media post that had gone viral. What is this? I asked, startled. She explained that she had shared a post about my husband's behavior, without naming me. Someone who followed her, by pure chance, had captured a video of the exact moment my husband screamed at me and left me behind when my water broke. The follower, respecting my privacy, blurred my face. With my friend's consent, they posted the video, and it spread like wildfire. Soon, my husband's identity and even the name of his company were uncovered. He's being torn apart online, my friend said calmly. What? I had no idea it got this serious. She smiled. They brought it on themselves. When questioned by a colleague, my husband reportedly said, I had a travel commitment with my parents that day. I had no choice. That only fueled the outrage. Soon, his parents were being criticized online too. Rumors spread, even in their neighborhood. Then, my phone rang. My mother-in-law. My friend glanced at the screen and smirked. Wanna give her a piece of your mind? But I was done. No words would matter anymore. I let the call go unanswered. Missed calls from my husband, father-in-law, and mother-in-law began flooding in. After the video went viral, even the hospital staff became more attentive. Whether my husband or his family showed up or called, they were denied access. Still, I worried as the discharge date drew near. What if they were waiting outside? My parents reassured me. Don't worry, you're protected. And they were right. On the day I left the hospital, as we stepped outside, I heard angry shouts, Lisa. It was my husband and his parents. But then, men in black suits stepped in, shielding me. One opened the car door and said gently, no need to worry. We're here on Sir's orders to escort you safely. My mother smiled. Didn't I tell you? Everything's taken care of. I sat in the car, shielded and safe. My husband and his family, stunned by the presence of bodyguards, could only watch as we drove away. I had no words for how thankful I was to Sarah. I wanted nothing more than to repay her kindness. My parents felt the same. We need to find a way to properly thank Sarah, they said. Life gradually regained its peace, but the calls and messages from my husband and his family didn't stop. I mailed the divorce papers, no response. Then, my in-laws called our home. My father answered. She's part of our family now, they said arrogantly. No matter how we treat her, she shouldn't complain. My father exploded. How dare you say that? He roared. The call ended abruptly. It became clear that legal action was the only option. My father contacted a lawyer he trusted, and when we explained the situation, the lawyer immediately agreed to help. I shared everything, from the viral video to years of mistreatment. When the lawyer contacted my husband, he was stunned, but quickly became defensive. We'll settle this between us. We don't need a lawyer. The lawyer calmly replied, I represent Lisa. Any further communication goes through me. Cornered, my husband finally agreed to divorce when mediation and court proceedings were mentioned. I don't want anything to do with the child, he said. I'm not paying child support. I did nothing wrong, so forget property division too. The lawyer laid out the legal facts, but my husband refused to listen until the lawyer said, then we'll see you in court. Suddenly, my in-laws panicked and caved, agreeing to the terms. When I heard the news, I was stunned that I had once married such a man. Throughout this, I kept Sarah updated. When I told her about the latest developments, she laughed. Maybe you should garnish his retirement fund, she joked. Fair's fair. Her quick wit made me smile. Soon after, the lawyer informed me that my ex wanted to apologize. I agreed to a phone call, with the lawyer and my parents present. On the call, his voice was sharp. Finally, apologize now and I'll forgive you. Come home. The house is a mess. My job's at risk. Everyone's judging me. It's your fault. Take responsibility. I remained silent. When he sneered, see, you can't even talk back. Worthless. I calmly said. This conversation is being recorded. I'll be using it as evidence. Goodbye. He panicked. Wait, what? You recorded it? Come on. I was joking. Please. I'm sorry. I can't live without you. We loved each other once, right? I'll do better this time. I hung up. I handed the recording to the lawyer. He's beyond help, the lawyer muttered, shaking his head. My parents agreed. What remained wasn't anger, but disbelief. Oddly enough, I found a small part of myself enjoying the drama. That little mischievous spark reminded me I had strength I hadn't known before. The divorce was finalized swiftly. Property was divided. Child support secured. The nightmare was ending. Sarah had also quietly told her husband about everything. The company took swift action. The CEO believed in protecting family, and to him, David had failed as both a husband and man. David was fired. Unable to pay the mortgage, he returned to his parents' home. His reputation, ruined by the viral video, kept him from landing a stable job. He scraped by with part-time gigs. Even his parents weren't spared. According to Sarah's friends, they now lived in constant fear and isolation. Social shaming was proving far more powerful than the law. With my health improving, I visited Sarah with my baby and parents to show our thanks. She and her husband greeted us warmly, doting on my baby with genuine affection. Sarah and my mother became fast friends. Her husband and my father got along just as well. Then something unexpected happened. Sarah's son, who was close to my age, and I began to grow closer. A few years later, the unthinkable happened. I became part of Sarah's family. Life truly is full of surprises.